Hey everybody, Jeff Siegel here from Green Chip Stocks, here to answer your questions. Question number one, can you explain why the solar market is growing so fast when solar power only provides electricity when the sun is out? So our economy, our energy economy is a diversified one. We've always had multiple forms of power generation, whether it be coal, nuclear, natural gas, and solar is now part of that mix. And the one thing you have to understand is while solar only works when the sun is out, it's also incredibly inexpensive compared to natural gas and coal and nuclear when the sun is out. So when the power producers, are producing electricity and they're sending it to the grid, they're always going to send that which is the cheapest. And during the middle of the day, solar is the cheapest. I would also point out that there is a lot of investment going into solar right now, where the most recent data shows $1 billion a day is now being invested in solar. I'll repeat that, $1 billion a day. So clearly there is an advantage, because if you have institutional money going in at $1 billion a day, they don't seem too concerned about the sun only shining during the day. And quite frankly, I'm just gonna follow their lead because they're institutional money, they have hundreds of millions of dollars to invest, and they're not really in the business of losing money. Next question, I want to invest in an energy storage play, but I'm not sure which technology I should bet on. There are a lot of options. Everything from pumped hydro, which has been around for a long time, to stationary battery storage, which is relatively new, but it's proliferating quite rapidly. That being said, there's something called the Newton battery, which I'm really bullish on right now. The advantage here is this Newton battery, it doesn't rely on a lot of the expensive materials that you need for battery storage. It's very easy to build, very inexpensive to operate. Quite frankly, that's what you're looking for storage. You're looking for something that's efficient, something that works, and it's inexpensive to build and operate. So I know one of my colleagues has actually written an article or two about the Newton battery, so you might want to check that out. Next question, if you could pick one solar stock to invest in, what would it be? There are a number of solar stocks out there that I do like, but I would say the best way to invest in solar right now is actually through a dividend play that I've written about recently. It's not a stock, it gives you an opportunity to invest in individual solar power plants across the country, and essentially you earn a dividend on on the revenue that is generated from those solar power plants. So this is actually something that we've seen a lot of really wealthy people do, like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and Warren Buffett. They've all done this. They essentially invest in a solar power project, and then those solar power projects have a deal with the utilities. They have a power purchase agreement, which locks in a certain rate that they'll get for the power. What happens here is you actually make an investment in that project, and when the dividends come in, you get a little piece of that action. And this one's actually pretty good. There's one that's paying an estimated 14%, which I think if you do about $100, you can do like a monthly $100 investment, and over the course of 15 or 20 years, which is usually how long the term is, you can walk away with like $100,000, and that's just on $100. You do $1,000, like a monthly investment of $1,000. By the end of the term, you're looking at close to $1 million. So it's a lot safer than investing in stocks. It's a monthly dividend, and it's just steady income. Are you still bullish on lab-grown meat? 100% yes. In fact, just recently there's a company called Good Meat, which is the cultivated meat division of a food technology company called Eat Just. And that company just got approved by the USDA to sell this lab-grown meat. It's a very, very big deal, because there's a lot of institutional money that's been wanting to invest in the lab-grown meat space but hasn't, because they want to make sure that the USDA will approve this for sale. Now that that's happened, you're going to see, it's not going to be a flood of cash, but it's going to start trickling into the space, not just retail investors now, but again, big institutional money. You're going to start seeing $10 million, $20 million, $30 million investments in some of these companies. I think I've talked about Cult Food Science before. It's a company that I've recommended. It's basically a company that has a portfolio of cultured meat companies, and the one that just got approved by the USDA is in their portfolio. The company is called Cult Food Science. Check it out. It's actually trading pretty cheap right now. I think you can get it below 10 cents. What's going on with pot stocks? I made a lot of money with your pot stock picks a few years ago, but you haven't written about them much lately. Isn't it a good time to buy pot stocks with it about to get legalized? There will be some movement on the legislative side in terms of cannabis banking through the SAFE Banking Act. You'll definitely see a nice bump if that gets passed, because what that will allow is cannabis companies to utilize traditional banking services, and that's just going to be fantastic for margins. That being said, I wouldn't hold my breath on legalization on a federal level anytime soon. The people want it, but it's still kind of a hot button for politicians, and there are just too many that are afraid to make any moves on that. But still, pay attention to the Safe Banking Act, because that's going to be a really big deal for a lot of these pot stocks. I mean, there's a number that you could invest in right now. I'd say probably you're going to get the best bang for your buck with a company called MariMed, which is a very small multi-state operator, but it is well-funded, seeing revenue growth year after year, quarter after quarter. And it's really just kind of like an unknown pot stock, because they don't spend a lot of money or time trying to promote the company, which I always love. And you can get it pretty cheap right now too. MariMed is the name of the company. So there you have it. That's your 5 and 5. If you have any other questions you would like me to answer, please feel free to let us know or drop a comment below.